The music of thunder in the night. It reminds me of the thunder that surrounds the tempestuous planet of Thunder's Edge. Welcome to the Twilight Imperium Junkies podcast. I am Dracula. I bid you welcome. Tonight, by the request of the Patreon poll, we will be looking at a most haunting faction indeed. For tonight is Halloween, a time of ghouls and goblins and ghosts. Ghosts. Sorrowful specters that emerge from breaches throughout the galaxy. You know of whom I speak. The Crimson Rebellion. Much like their Kree kin, but stained blood red from the curse of the Mahakt. Lost, found, and lost again. A most terrifyingly tragic tale. But how, you ask, do they play? And where are the Twilight Imperium Junkies? Do not worry. No harm has come to your usual hosts. In fact, I have made one of them my guest.
Oh, my head. What? Where am I? Rand? Nathan? Anyone? Oh, that's a castle. Oh, that's a vampire.
I am Dracula.
Yep, the cape kind of gave it away. Get me out of here.
Look into my eyes. You will tell me everything you know of the Crimson Rebellion.
I will. Hi, everyone. T.I. Junkie Michael here in a big castle, and yeah, I played the Crimson Rebellion this past weekend. And I guess I'm gonna talk about it with this guy.
What was your experience playing the Crimson Rebellion? Do you think they were fun?
Well, it was my first time playing them, and in fact, it was my first time playing Thunder's Edge in general, with the rest of the Junkies. But at first glance, first impressions, they're definitely fun to play. I think they've got a lot of unique tools that let them stand out from other factions, and even from the normal Ghosts of Kreus. For example, they have a bit of a SAR thing going on where your home system is actually pretty safe. It's almost impossible to take because anything that goes in there just blows up, right? So not only will you have access to a decent home system the whole game, but it's also totally safe from being taken by your competition. So it'll be more challenging to stop you if you get ahead on points. You can't be slayed as easily. Now, they can't use normal wormholes, which is a challenge and can really hem you in depending on your map situation. I know in our game, I didn't really have a lot of wormholes around me, so that wasn't as big of a problem to have a whole bunch of stuff that other people can use that I can't. But you, of course, have your special breach tokens, and lots of ways to get those on the board, move them around. Your breakthrough makes them where your units are. Your destroyers cause them to appear wherever combat happens. In fact, one thing I found myself doing a lot was sort of putting bounties on systems, like, hey, I'll pay anyone who comes over here and has a fight so I can get a breach over here. And sometimes people took me up on that, but sometimes it was a bit of a tall order, because at the end of the day, it's still a command token for them, right? Also, one thing I sort of found through playing them is you really want to have a lot of destroyers upgraded, ideally, on the board and move them out as much as you can so that you can get breaches as far away from you as possible, maximize your movement, because the level 2 destroyers can make breaches up to 2 squares away, or two hexes away. Because ultimately, if you just keep to your own slice, then you're really only going to have breaches in your own slice, which is not going to help your movement, especially in the later game where you could really use the ability to spread out and take stuff. So I think really, you play these guys and they seem, again, at first glance, they seem to have a very aggressive play style where, again, you want to be in incurring on other people's territory and getting your breaches out there and setting up and taking advantage of them immediately because other people can remove your breaches. Yeah.
Tell me about these destroyers, these ethereal exiles. You make them sound as if they are your most important units, your children of the night.
Yeah, definitely important. They are your best way of getting breaches where other people are. And again, the sooner you can get them upgraded, the better, which is actually why I chose to start with AI Dev. At startup, you get to pick either a blue or a red, no prereq starting tech, so I went with that. You can go right into Destroyer 2. You can use your breakthrough to get Grav Drive, then go all the way up blue and red, all you like. Your upgraded destroyers hit on 7s, which is pretty great. They're like cruisers. They're so cheap to make. But you are still going to need a diverse fleet because, of course, they don't have any capacity. You need ground forces. They have a cool flagship as well. The Quietus hits on a couple of 5s, so very good combat value. And again, if you can park it on a breach, you can cancel all the unit abilities of any enemy stuff also on a breach. So you can take away their sustain, their anti-fighter, production, whatever. Structures-wise, you're definitely, I feel, going to want a forward base of some kind. That seems crucial, because you can't really get a breach in your home system as far as I can tell, which is like the Creus, you have a home system off the board, and then a Creus Gate-like thing called the Sorrow, where your home system would be. Luckily, with the new construction, getting a forward dock is easier than ever. PDS-2, also fun. It's just about the only way you're actually going to use the PDS on your home planet outside of structure objectives. You get a bunch of them out there protecting your stuff, you get breaches in the air above them, and now, all of a sudden, you got a lot of shots coming out of all your breaches. Mechs, too. If you can get a breach somewhere with a planet you want, you don't even need to bring a ship. You just spawn a mech right out of the breach and take it. Kind of like Yin or Sardak, just ground forces popping up out of nowhere to take stuff. It's a really cool ability.
And what of their leaders? I understand they have quite a terrifying trio.
Yeah, Agent, really useful. Commander, really great in my opinion. Hero, seems good for winning one important fight at least. Agent lets you swap the positions of 2 of your ships, which is how you solve the whole one carrier start. You send it out, then swap it with something back home, and then you send it out again. You can even transport stuff when you do.
Ah, but beware. For just because you can transport does not mean you can land. Take care. Beware.
Right. Yeah, it's not a tactical action. Commander is great though. You get a commodity or convert a commodity to a trade good whenever there's a fight ever. Just not just your fight, not just fights you're near, any fight at all. So lots of money to be made. Plus, you can sell the Alliance for a good price, I feel. So that, plus your exile ability, means you really benefit not just from your own fights, but from other people fighting. As for the hero, you just put stuff that you build onto it whenever you want, optionally. Then whenever you're done doing that, you just pop it whenever you want to dump everything on it into a single combat that you're in, bypassing capacity and fleet supply until the end. So you could put a whole bunch of destroyers in there. You could put a whole bunch of fighters in there and just, soak up a whole bunch of hits because they're going to survive the fight, at least until the end. So yeah, like I said, I think it's good for winning one really important fight. It doesn't really help your economy that much or anything like that. So if you're in a position where, a point is on the line and you need to win something really for sure, then that's a good hero to have for doing that.
The spider spinning his web for the unwary fly. Fascinating. And now that you've had your first game as the Crimson Rebellion, what do you think you would do next time?
Well, 2 things that didn't really come up during our game were the promissory note and the other faction tech. The other faction tech is called Subatomic Splicer, lets you build stuff that dies back at your home dock. So it seems really useful in terms of re-upping your ships that get destroyed and building them back at home, which a lot of the times, again, is unlocked because you're going to have your forward dock most of the time if you can. But, for us, not only was it a tech-poor game we had, but it's also got a yellow prereq, so you really want a yellow skip or something because it seems like these guys really like blue and red based on their breakthrough. I guess you could get, Sarween is all right for the free destroyers. I don't know how much exploring you're going to do with Scanlink, so I feel like you're going to spend most of your time there. Now, the promissory note, I actually just gave it away as part of a deal, and it just never got used, but it seems like it could have been good defensively. You get to let someone basically turn off all the wormholes in a system, so theoretically, you could totally lock down like the wormhole nexus or something for a round if there was a planet in there, I guess Malice, right, that you really wanted to protect.
Excellent. You have told me much of the Crimson Rebellion. They seem like frightfully fearsome foes indeed. You have done well.
Cool. Can I go home now?
Are you sure you don't want to stay for a bite?
No, I'm good. I know where that goes. I'm just gonna call an Uber, I guess.
You can live for as many centuries as I have, and still never have enough Twilight Imperium. The new Thunder's Edge episode of TI Junkies will be coming to haunt you soon. But now, on this All Hallows Eve, I must return to my coffin to slumber, and dream of spirits and phantoms in the night. Farewell, my friends. Perhaps you will play the Crimson Rebellion. Will you lead them to retribution or to ruin? And why not cast your vote in the new Patreon poll to see which of the new factions will be dissected next?